Blessings, ladies and gentlemen. It's EJC Arts. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you and giving you my tips and experience on how to become a good vendor. Stay tuned. There's so many ways that you could apply for a vendor. Now, for me, how did I find this out? So, for me, this is what I start off doing. I went to the flea market. Now, as soon as you go to your very first vending event, talk to the other vendors and see what's going on. Now, as I talked to the other vendors, I found other vending spots. Now, there's multiple ways. There's websites and apps. There's Facebook. That's the most perfect one because in Facebook, you could find so many community vending groups that are just going to be posting up and looking for vendors. And there's other apps too you could use as well. I think there's one called Evan Byte. I might be botching on the name right now, but I'm going to be putting down all the information down in below. But these are the ones that I stick to on a daily basis. Now, there's some that you have to look out for as far as like the free ones and the pricing ones. You have some events that are going to be weekly. You have some that are going to be monthly, and you have some that are going to be yearly. But I'm going to have to say this. Once you go to your very first vending event, talk to the other vendors so you could see what's going on around your area. Now, some vending events might be 45 minutes or an hour away from you, but it might be beneficial for you because of the traffic and you might be making a profit out of it because think about it, the gas money that you spend over there, the parking, and just to set up everything and the food, you might be selling all of your stuff. Might and you can make a profit out of it. But I'm telling you this, once you go to your very first vending event, talk to the people. Don't just stand there in your booth. Now, what to look for in these applications? Now, I'm not going to lie to you, I have a budget that I look for. I don't like to spend anything more than $50 on these applications. I always look at the person who's organizing it and to see how their following is and how do they carry themselves in social media and are they promoting this event very well. That's one thing too because some of these events, for example, you do have free events, but yes, it is free, but then it's going to be dead as a ghost. You feel me? And then you have some events that you pay for. Now, I live here in Florida. So if it rains, it's non-refundable. You don't even get your money back, you know? So I have a budget. My budget is anything more than 50, I have to think twice for and 80% chance I'm not going. You feel me? But I love free events. The reason why, because it's a hit and shoot miss, but I'm not losing that much because it's free and I didn't even spend anything. Now, the ones that you do spend for, you're always on that, hey, I gotta make my money back. If I spend 50, of course you want to make at least, more than 50 to get your money back on that. So those are a couple of things that I look for the most. It's just the money, how well they organize this organization, you know, because when it comes down to the event, that really matters to me. And I want to know if the person is taking this event very seriously. Some people just do events out of nowhere just to take your money. You know, I love the ones that really help out the community. Now, one thing that I love doing is I love talking to the person who's organizing the event because I love the help too as well. The more I know, the better. So I could help them and then they could help me too as well. And we're both helping out each other and in the long run. But those are things that I look for when I'm looking to fill out the application. And on top of that, when you're filling out applications, they always want you to put your resume. Now, you don't have to put a resume, but just put a brief, detailed description on what you do. Have your phone number and just have a social media platform out there. There are some events that are not going to accept you because you don't have a social media platform, and they're going to look at you like, if he's not taking this seriously, why be here? And there's some events that are just going to take anybody just to help people out. Now, what do you need to be a vendor? Now, I'm not going to lie to you. For my very first time, I was very lucky. Since I went to the flea market, they already had tents and they had tables and chairs for you to rent. But I came to find out and realize at other vendor events, they're not going to have that. So you got to get that on your own. So that's one thing that I got was a tent, table, and chairs. You could get that in the flea market, you could get that from Amazon, but you could find good deals on that. Now, one thing I'm gonna mention is a wagon, because when you think about it, some of these events are gonna have you being parked all the way far away where you need to go. Now, you don't want to keep on going back and forth. So it's always good just to have that wagon so you could just carry, because you want to just carry all your stuff all at once and then boom, you're good you know so that's one thing you're going to need as a vendor, and business cards, because when people come up to you and approach you, they're going to want to know more about you, so it's good to just have that business card ready. My very first time, I did not have my business card, so I learned that those are the main three things that you're going to need. But business card, tent, tables, and chairs. After that, everything else is just a little bit extra, but that's on you if you need that. Now, things to do at the event. You don't want to be that type of person that's just going to be sitting in your own tent and just not talk to anybody. You have to talk to the other people. Think about this, especially if you're by yourself. There's going to be moments where you want to take a break and use the bathroom. So it's nice to talk to the other vendors to be like, hey, can you just watch my table for a second while I go use the bathroom? And on top of that, you want to socialize. I find it very, very best to just socialize and talk to other people. You guys are helping out each other. And like what I said from the very beginning, you're gonna know about other vending events that are going on. And the most important thing, talk to the person who is organizing the event. It's very, very important to do that. The way I see it, I'm a huge fan of wrestling. You always want to take it back. I take it back to being like John Cena. It's always good to be an ambassador, just be that people person. And on top of that, don't sit down and just let the people just look at your artwork or your work. Speak for your work. You have to sell your work. Your work is not going to sell itself. And on top of that, bring some food. You're going to get hungry. I find it best to just bring a couple of snacks here and there. I mean, of course, you're going to have people that have their food trucks here and there or whatnot, but I like to dress nice. So, with that being said, I'm not going to buy some barbecue and I'm just wearing all white and getting my clothes dirty. You feel what I'm saying? And on top of that, I just look at it light snacks, it's more better, and I'm still engaging with the customer. I'm not taking a long time on my lunch break and being away from my table. Always stand up. For me, I know some people they do have trouble with that, but I don't care. I don't mind standing up for a full 4 hours. I realize when you're more presentable and you're more engaged with the customer, they react to you more and they're going to buy your artwork more. Don't just sit there and be a zombie and not say anything. That's one thing I look at that's very important, and that's one mistakes that I see several people do. And then don't get me wrong, I know some people are shy. Some people have to get out of their comfort zone. And that it did took me a while to get out of my comfort zone and just speak more, because I'm not the type of person that like to talk about myself, you know. But being a vendor, you do have to do that because the people want to know more about you. The more they know more about you, the more they're going to be emotionally attached to your product and they're going to buy more of your work. Think about that. Okay, so now this one is very, very tricky. Things you want to bring. Now, of course, I already covered this. You want to bring a snack, And on top of that, since I live here in Florida, we do have days that it's going to rain. I like to wear long sleeves. I like to wear clothes that's going to make me feel comfortable. I never like to go extraordinary and just wear like a big fancy suit. Think about it. Most of these events, you're outside. So you're going to be sweating and you're going to be setting up your tent and tables. And you're going to, so you don't want to be wearing something nice and then you're sweating and then you're musty. It's not pretty. It's not beautiful at all. I'm letting you know that right now. Mostly, one thing too, I do want to mention if you do have someone um, that could come with you, bring them with you. It is very, very important. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. There are some days where I wish to God I just had an extra hand just to help me out, just setting up the tents, the tables, the chairs, all that other stuff. Those are like the two main things. And on top of that, there's some events where you don't have to bring a lot, but there's some events where you do have to bring a lot. So with that being said, I go all out even when they tell me, even if it's like a late night event, for example, anything after 6 or 7 p.m., I'm bringing lights because we're outside and it's going to get dark. Now, there's some events that are going to be like, no, you don't have to bring lights. I still bring lights. The more, the better. That's how I feel. And I have a banner. I feel like it's so good to just put yourself out there. I have a big size banner. Now, there were some events where I didn't bring them, and I regret that. So now I bring in everything. And I'm not going to lie to you, too. It's really going to be hard if you have a small car because you're going to have to pack everything in there and it's going to be really tight. I have an SUV because I knew that I was going to be in this position and I know that I was going to need space, especially if I'm carrying so much stuff with me, which is very important. So for me, if I have space in my car, the more the merrier. I'm bringing everything with me because hey, you never know. Now, for right now, I'm not going to lie to you. It does become very, very stressful and very, how can I put this? You have to be very consistent. One thing about it is you just don't want to just do one vending event and then stop for 2 months and then get back at it. I find it best when you're very consistent. That's why I like to do the free events. You know, it's not a waste of money and it's not a waste of time because this way, if you're just not feeling it in the 2 hours, you could just leave. But by being consistent, you realize what the people want from you. You're more engaged with your customer and you could tell what the customer wants from you and what the customer is willing to buy. It keeps me up because honestly, it took me a while. Now I put my artworks in products like t-shirts, socks, keychains, etc. Because not everybody's going to buy your artwork. People may love your artwork, but the first thing they're going to say is, where can I put this in my home? Where would this fit in my home? You get what I'm saying? But if you have it on a keychain, on a socks, or a hat, a t-shirt, etc., people are willing to buy that more too as well. And then on top of that, as a business person, you're learning more about the business art world more. Think about that. So if you're ever going to do and be a vendor, stay consistent and don't stop on the grind. Once you fall off the wagon, it's easy to get back in, but then it's just like riding a bike all over again, you know? So I hope this video helps out. And if you are a vendor and if you have any tips, please comment down below and I want to know. And also, I'm going to give you guys my basically where I buy my supplies at because I feel like that's very helpful. I remember when I was watching other people, they were putting out where they buy their supplies, and that's what I'm gonna do for you guys, especially for the banner. I found a 8x8 banner just for $35. Other places are selling it for like about 60 or 70. It's ridiculous. So I'm all about saving money and helping you guys out there. So I hope this video helps out. Please like and share. Hope to see you soon in the next one. Blessings.